Astronauts to the moon.
Ignition sequence start. 3, 2, 1.
Houston, we have a problem.
Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
We copy you on the ground. You got a bunch of guys about to turn blue.
What you're seeing here is a mirage.
What's going on, everyone? It's Jeranism, back with another video for you today. The Great Umbra Penumbra Conundrum. Looks like I've found a pretty large hole in the heliocentric model, but who knows? I could have just flawed understanding, and so I'm going to present it to you, and then you guys can tell me. So either I found something or there's some lame brain excuse for it. We'll see which one. So it looks like it's time for Totally Global. But we're going to be looking at it, and it's going to take three things into account. The moon, the earth, the sun, but it should be really easy to see, so let's get into that example and proof. First up is parallel rays. So science says that the sun rays hit the earth parallel. And these images that you've seen, I'm sure, before with what's called crispicular rays are a strange anomaly because, well, do those lines look parallel to you? Now, a few points about what we are looking at. Remember that they say that the sun is 93 million miles away, so the excuse is just like the railroad tracks that meet at our horizon, but it appears I can see where all the sun rays converge. Well, let's say, since science does, that sun rays do hit the earth parallel. Now, side note on that, the reason I think Aristophanes is a lie is because in 300 BC, the man could not have done what they have ascribed to him. It's just not realistic to believe that Aristophanes, 1, knew that the earth was a ball. We could give him that. That 2, that the sun was at an infinite distance. Okay, we'll give him that. That the rays were parallel, even though he saw crispicular rays like we've seen earlier. But okay, we'll give him that. But then also that he believed that the sun orbited the earth. See, that's where their whole story falls apart. Because he would have been smart enough to know that the sun at an infinite distance could not get all the way around the earth in 24 hours. Yet that's the story we're told, and that's what you have to believe if you're going to believe the story of the sticks in Egypt. I hate to tell Carl Sagan, who's supposed to be an observant scientist and truth seeker, who couldn't see the fabrication of Aristophanes right in front of him, that even Stevie Wonder could have seen this one. But now let's move on to the Great Umbra Penumbra Conundrum. Okay, so we're ready to go on to the conundrum here, and we will remember to go ahead and give them some of their so-called facts. So we're going to say that the light rays do travel parallel and hit the Earth in that parallel fashion. So what you're seeing on the screen now is simply some little examples of that. And we zoomed in here, and you can see that those lines are hitting the Earth parallel or perpendicular to the surface. And you can do it with a smaller sun too. I'm just pointing that out here. That it doesn't have to be bigger than the Earth, or it can be smaller from that perspective. Doesn't matter. We're just showing that light travels across and hits the Earth. Now we're going to look at a solar eclipse. And that's when the moon is in orbit and it blocks the sun, or when it's on the backside of the Earth, and they say that at that time the Earth blocks the light, and then that's why we see a lunar eclipse. So that's the accepted beliefs and the accepted model. But now we're looking at a solar eclipse, and we're going to see exactly how they draw for us the Umbra and the Penumbra. So go ahead and go to any site that shows you how these shadows work with the eclipse or the lunar eclipse. And you'll see lines drawn like this, from the top edge there of the sun down, meeting with the outer edge of the Earth, and so forth and so on. And you have a problem. And does anybody know what that problem is? It should be kind of obvious that when they show us eclipses, they show the sun rays going at angles. You can see here that these are clearly not parallel rays. Why is it that science can invoke these different phenomena only when needed by these particular scientists? Are the rays hitting us parallel, or are they not? Because now you've backed yourself into a corner yet again, NASA. You have a choice to make. You can't have both. So which one is it? Is it the lunar eclipses are what we were taught? Or does the sun come in and hit the Earth in parallel rays? All right, up next we have the lunar eclipse. So we're looking at another picture, the same thing, only this time now the Earth has gotten in the way, according to mainstream science, and blocking the light to the sun. But again, when we draw the lines that we see, we'll notice that they have again created quite a big conundrum for themselves. So again, all you have to do is just look at the screen here and see what they've done from the rays that are coming off the sun. They are crisscrossing, they are going at angles. How can that be possible if the sun rays hit the Earth parallel? So you'll see what they do when they need it to be parallel. They say that the sunlight is parallel. When they need to invoke an Umbra and a Penumbra, then and only then do they now say that the sun rays do come in at angles. All right, so let's do a little summary piece real quick on the conundrum that's in front of science. The summary from this video is that if rays from the sun are parallel, then eclipses do not cause two shadow types like the Umbra and the Penumbra. Therefore, something is up there. The second bullet point is if rays do come in at all angles, then the Aristophanes experiment and test and the belief that the rotundity of the Earth could be measured the same way are all out the window. And the third and final bullet point, and that last bullet point is only one can be true, and whichever stays means the other fact must go. So think about it, my globehead friends. Which one are you going to keep? Next, I want you to hear something interesting. So what I have for you is a short tape of a recent eclipse, I believe 2015 March, from Australia. And just listen to what the announcer says and listen to the thousands of little girls screaming. And then you'll put two and two together when he says that they're watching the eclipse on a screen because they have cameras above the clouds, meaning that everybody on the ground was blocked from seeing the eclipse because of clouds. Then why do we have 3,000 girls screaming like Justin Bieber came on stage, which is probably the case. It was just a lifted soundbite from some concert. But listen yourself. You'll definitely hear what I'm saying. This is not people watching an eclipse.
We can see on the radio on the screen a fantastic total solar eclipse taken from the pictures above the clouds.
This is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life.
So maybe you agree with me, maybe you don't. Next, it's time for Final Jeopardy. All right, Final Jeopardy. We've got 3 contestants today, all of them Globers, here to answer the big question. And we've got Miss White, Mr. Black, and Mrs. Green. The question is, given that it has now been shown that you cannot have both phenomenon, which of the two would you like to keep? Eclipses or parallel rays? You may answer now. All right, fake pencils down, fake answers in, and let's go first to Mrs. White. Her answer was, I'll keep both like I always have, because science is always right. Ask Neil deGrasse Tyson. I'm sorry, that's not the correct answer. Oh. All right, let's move on to Mr. Black instead, and he got, oh my God, are you that stupid? You are an idiot moron. Please go drink bleach. I'm sorry, Mr. Black, that also is the incorrect answer. Last but not least, we have one more chance for the Globe Group to make amends and to get that correct final answer. And Mrs. Green said, I'm so sure scientists are all lying just to hide the shape of the Earth. The White House couldn't even keep a blowjob a secret. Interesting, I've never heard that one before, Mrs. Green. However, it also is the wrong answer. The correct answer, the one we were looking for, was take either one. It doesn't matter. The model is garbage, and it matters not which one we pick. The globe doesn't work anymore. It's a mess. So you guys were close, but ultimately you couldn't quite get that final answer. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it a ton. Hope you get the issue now with the sunlight. We have two different things being explained by different facts, but both those facts can't coexist. Either the light comes to us in parallel lines, or it doesn't. Can't be both. So as always, do your own research. Be kind, don't lie, and open your mind, because there's truth inside. This has been Jeranism. And finally, a bunch of shout-outs. I'm going to miss a bunch of people, but here goes. To Jazz. Hey, yo! Is this thing on? Can't tell. Caveman, what's up? Scarecrow. Caw, caw. Diana. Mike from the East Coast, Dr. Franklin, Sandy, Jamie Cisneros, Doug, Geyer Andrus, Kazoli, Brett, Jason L, Ted P, Carrie Star, Mike C, PJL, Stephen Bradley, Roy, Shagaya, Ali, TK3, Jaren, Fanny, Paul, not your mother, well, not my mother, or not your mother, John C, Shelly Michelle, John Welsh, Grant, Lynn, Nova, Danny, Lisa, Matthew, Steve Stewart, Morgan, Carlos, Patricia. Special shout outs to Slick IT, Bob and Cammy, David, and everyone else that I missed. I love you all. This has been Jeranism. Till next time. Peace.
Voice, do I have a voice? Do I give a fuck? Do I have a choice? Joint, I roll up a joint, keep my shooters in the game like I hate to disappoint. I see only good things on the horizon. That's probably why the horizon is always rising.